Welcome to TCB for EAP, Echoes of Elvis, the podcast that digs deep into the life, legacy, and lore of the one and only Elvis Presley. I'm your host, Jesse Mallory, and today we're rolling back the clock to the beginning, to the dusty roads, gospel churches, and humble homes of Tupelo, Mississippi, where Elvis's story continues. This is episode 2 of Roots of a Legend, Elvis Presley's early years, 1935 to 1946. The Presley family is poor, very poor. Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, does his best to provide. He picks up odd jobs, hauls groceries, works for the WPA. In 1940, Vernon began working for the WPA, expanding the Pascagoula shipyards near Biloxi. In 1942, he was still employed by the WPA, working on building POW camps. Other WPA projects he was involved in were the construction of the Lee County Jail in Tupelo, which was funded by the WPA. Gladys, strong-willed and hard-working, toils in a garment factory for just a couple of dollars a day. She worked at the Tupelo Garment Company. She was a seamstress at the factory, where they primarily made men's work shirts. The Tupelo Garment Company was located within the Tupelo Cotton Mills, a major industry in the town. No plumbing, no electricity turned on at their home. Life was hard. In 1938, things get worse. Vernon is arrested and sent to Parchman Prison for altering a $4 check. He'd sold a hog to Orville S. Bean and felt that Orville shortchanged him. There's no record of the check, but close friends said the check was forged for either $14 or $40. Vernon serves 8 months in prison. Gladys cannot afford to keep the house and loses it. Elvis, barely 3, watches as his world is shaken. But Tupelo neighbors and family rally around Gladys and Elvis. They lean on their faith, and that faith becomes a cornerstone of Elvis's world. Gladys and Vernon are members of the First Assembly of God Church, a small Pentecostal congregation. It's here that Elvis first hears live music, powerful, soul-shaking gospel that would stay with him for life. Elvis is drawn to the sound. Even as a toddler, he listens, watches, and absorbs. This is true for most musicians. And at home, music continues. Elvis received guitar lessons from his uncle Vester Presley, who played local honky-tonks, and his uncle Johnny Smith. Additionally, Elvis's pastor, Brother Frank Smith, also taught him some chords and was a significant influence on his musical development. Radio shows bring in country twang and blues rhythms. He listens to Mississippi Slim on local station WELO, who would later invite a young Elvis to sing live on air. Gladys continues to sing to Elvis as well. In 1941, Elvis starts first grade at East Tupelo Consolidated School. Teachers describe him as polite, shy, and deeply attached to his mother. They also describe him as singing often. Then comes a moment that would hint at what's to come. In 1945, at just 10 years old, Elvis enters a talent contest at the Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show. Standing on a crate to reach the mic, he sings Old Shep. He finishes in 5th place. The talent show is broadcast over WELO radio. Winning 5th prize, Elvis receives $5 in fair ride tickets. Can you imagine if WELO had a recording of this? That would be exciting. 1 year later, Gladys bought Elvis an acoustic guitar for his 11th birthday in January 1946. It was purchased from the Tupelo hardware store and cost $7.75. Elvis wanted a rifle or a bicycle, but his mother persuaded him to take the guitar instead. This guitar is considered Elvis's first and the beginning of his musical journey, and history starts to hum. Fun fact, the guitar was a K-brand guitar. Elvis used this guitar from January 1946 to August 1954, which means he used it on his first Sun Records recording. I'll do a deep dive on this guitar in a later video. Life in Tupelo during these years is tough. The town is recovering from one of the deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history, an F5 twister that killed over 200 people in 1936 when Elvis was a year old. Now, if you remember the movie Twister, you'll remember how powerful an F5 tornado can be. Tupelo is racially segregated, yet Elvis grows up side by side with black neighbors, hearing blues from street corners and spirituals in church fields. These sounds start to swirl in his imagination. By the end of 1946, Elvis Presley is still just a boy, but the pieces are already there: a loving but hard life at home, a deep well of faith and gospel roots, an old guitar and a hunger to sing, and a little voice that's learning to roar. Before he was the king, he was just Elvis from Tupelo, a boy with a song in his soul. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive into Elvis's early years. In the next episode, we'll follow the Presley family as they pack up and move to Memphis. Subscribe and share. I'm Jessie Mallory. Keep taking care of business.